Gingers have no soul. But what if we added some mechanical parts to them? Worn out shoes, after a while, also might not have a soul. But what if we added some mechanical parts to them? Battery-powered watches absolutely have no soul. But what if we added some mechanical parts that you get what I'm you get the bit. Incredible. It is 10:11 a.m. Let's get down to business. Okay, so here on my wrist today is a watch from the company Mechanical Exploration. Now, on the, I guess, case, it's like the center beam of the case, engraved it says MecExp, which is Mechanical Exploration, but if you were to pronounce it the way it's written on all their social media, MecExp, it's a little bit like Tex-Mex. I'm a fat ass. But the watch in question here is their MS1001, and man, it's like nothing you've ever seen before, I can tell you that. Here are my first impressions. What the fuck is this presentation? It is so different, it is so out there, but surprisingly, actually very quick time-telling display once you kind of figure out what you're looking at. The case, very sharp, very nice, finishing all around. It's brushed where it's supposed to be. No real polished edges, but you get nice grains with no visible tool marks. One of the first things I noticed is that it has drilled lugs, very nice. And I gotta bring this up early on. When you press the crown, weird things happen. But we're going to talk about that in a moment. On the wrist, it lays very flat. You'd expect it maybe to be bulky and cumbersome because of the interesting case shape, but it actually slides under the cuff relatively easily if I wanted it to. The watch is very comfortable. I'm wearing it on a quite supple rubber strap. It doesn't feel kind of gross and stiff like some resin straps do. And all in all, although it kind of has a very unique presentation, kind of wears very similarly to just a conventional watch. So let's quickly jump into the specs, and then I'm going to show you everything this watch does. Now the case here is stainless steel, and you can see that on the dial panels you see yellow Arabics. Now you can get red Arabics, green Arabics, or yellow Arabics, and each colorway has two variations, stainless steel or PVD coated steel. The crystal inlays are sapphire, 48mm lug to lug, 38mm width, 14.5mm thick, 20mm lug width. And to answer the question you probably have right now, this watch is powered by an in-house rechargeable electric CNC motor driven movement. We're going to talk about that in a moment. You're also getting a 30-meter water resistance rating. Now, before I tell you the price of this watch, I want to show you everything this watch does. Okay, so fundamentally, right, it's a time-telling device. So, the left-hand column is going to be the hour, and the right-hand column is going to be the minutes in time-telling mode. Now, you press the crown twice, and you can see that the hour column starts moving, and it displays a different number. Now, that number is not a separate time zone, it's actually your power reserve. So you can see it goes up essentially out of 10, which would be 100. It's never going to go up to like 120, I don't think. On a full charge, 10 would just be 100%, and then it goes down from there. Now, the power reserve, according to Mechanical Exploration, is over a month on one single charge, which is very impressive. Now, you look at the case back, and you see a magnetic kind of charger port to go alongside their proprietary charger that they obviously include with the watch. Now, you press the crown 3 times, and both columns move down to the bottom. Now, you press the crown one more time in this setting, and you see the right-hand column starts ticking away. you are now in the chronograph function. So to stop it, you press the chronograph one more time, you press it again, it totally clears and goes back to time telling. So how do you go about setting the watch? Well, it's somewhat conventional, but instead of pulling the crown out, you press it 4 times, and then you start rotating the crown as you would conventionally. And again, right now it's about 10:30. So we will go ahead and move the hour to the 10. Press the crown one more time, it'll go into the minutes, and we will move it over. Perfect. Now, one of my favorite parts about this watch is while you're going through the different settings and you're watching the columns move and shift, you get a very almost haptic response where you feel it on your wrist moving, and you can sometimes feel the ticks and clicks, and you hear it. You actually hear the CNC cut, motor-driven movement moving. Now, there's one more setting that this watch has that is my absolute favorite, and it's when you press the crown once. That's right. You actually get a backlight on this watch, and it's very functional, believe it or not. It's incredibly vibrant. I'm in a well-lit office with some studio lighting, and still, boom, you see the glow. So that's better than even some G-Shock backlights when you're filming in a light room. So I get it, this watch is very unconventional when it comes to its presentation and when it comes to its time-telling display. And I know some people don't want to have to shift through different settings and blah, 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 blah. But what I will say is, as someone who is, very familiar with various digital watches like, G-Shocks and even some Citizen watches, I have one of my dad's Citizen Blue Angels in my office right now because he needed help setting various functions. Those come with manuals this thick. It's like a Bible, and you're gonna have to read through all of these things to figure it out. Now, with G-Shocks, once you kind of figure out one, you can kind of idiot-proof yourself and figure it out going through various settings. But those Citizens, you can get lost in the sauce. But with this, I can tell you right now, it's actually very rudimentary in comparison to some of these other, battery-powered watches with various modes. And one thing I really appreciate about this watch is that it is, a battery-powered watch at the end of the day. It is a soulless watch that requires electricity and recharging and blah, blah, blah. But I'm here in my office attire. I have a button down and a tie on. I'm not wearing any pants. But still, I'm able to put this on and doesn't really look out of place. It's definitely different, but it's not like I'm here with a tie on wearing my Mudmaster or something. So mechanical exploration with this series of watches has found a way to kind of seamlessly integrate, something very different and unique, but not so weird and out there that you wouldn't actually want to wear it. Because let me be clear, we see a lot of very, very out there watches on this channel, and although I appreciate all of them and I think they're all very cool in their own way, some of them I'm very, very, upfront with you guys, and I tell you, this is not something I would pull off a shelf and wear for myself. It's just not really in my wheelhouse. This absolutely is, and this is actually my personal watch, and I think it's so cool that I'm actually getting one for my dad. Because I saw my parents, I went out to dinner with them, and I was wearing this, and my dad's like, "What watch are you wearing?" Because obviously that's a very common question he asks me nowadays. And he was like, man, he was playing with it for a while, and I was, talking to Sammy, I was talking to my mom, and eating food, and then I realized 15 minutes had gone by and my dad's still tinkering with it. My dad looks at me and goes, "This thing's really cool." So I was like, "You want one? I'll get you one." And another thing I kind of geek out about this watch is it's kind of cyberpunky, almost steampunky in a way. It's very weird. You get the backlight, but then also there's no LCD display. You see the actual metal components moving, and there's a buzz and a hum and a tick and a clink, and you see things all corresponding with one another, but then you go ahead and go charge it later if you want, and it's just very strange and not something I've ever really reviewed before, and I really do appreciate it. It's actually really fun, and the best part is, it's actually very solid. It doesn't feel like some rinky-dink cheap toy. Now, I actually met with the brand owner's son, who's here in the US currently, and we had a talk about this watch and everything that went into it and how they kind of came up with it and everything. And the dad is back in Guangzhou, China, where they are producing these, and he's overseeing the production. And he kind of told me that his dad's philosophy when it came to designing these watches is he wanted something very innovative and different and cool, but not something that would be so expensive no one will actually wear it. And that's why you can buy these right now on Mechanical Exploration's website. I'll leave a link in the description below. For $299. $299 gets you this watch. It's crazy. When I first got it in my hands and we were talking about it and he showed me everything it did and I felt it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be what? Going to be asking just under $900 maybe because it's different and things are in-house and blah, blah, blah. No, under $300. That is nutty. Now, I do have a little teaser for you. I wasn't sure if I was going to include it in this episode or not, but in the office today, I also have a titanium version of this watch, and it's actually not in production, okay? So that's a prototype that they are kind of trying out. The dimensions are a little different. The titanium is actually a little bit larger than this stainless steel version, although, you know, the titanium's still much lighter. Now, what I will say is I hope they do bring it to market, because having another option, another material is just that much cooler, and I probably personally would scoop up the titanium version as well. But for now, I really do like this stainless steel. The PVD coated ones are very cool, although I kind of wanted something with the clean metal, and I think the yellow Arabics really pop. I don't think I have a watch with much yellow on it, so this is very cool. MecExp says, the MS1001 blends mechanical artistry, optical tracking, and digital programming in a self-developed movement. This watch boasts unique timekeeping, innovative design, and an exquisite appearance. And I concur. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's absolutely one of the coolest, unconventional watches I've ever reviewed on this channel. And yeah, it feels solid, but it's so dang cheap. It's crazy. $299. If you're at all interested in it, why not scoop it up? I think it's very, very cool. But let me know what you think, guys. Again, you get the watch plus a charger, so it's not like they're doing the Apple thing where you buy the product and then later you're gonna have to beg them to give you the charger. But leave me a comment. Would you ever wear this? Is it too out there for you? Is the price good? Is it bad? Are the specs interesting? Is it functional? I learned from you just as much as you learned from me, so I will see you in the comment section. Now, I did a behind the scenes review of this watch when I got it over on the members area. I've been doing that recently, so I mean, I have to do the work to produce the episodes anyway, so why not film it and give you some kind of behind the scenes commentary as I figure out how I feel about these watches. So if you're interested, click the join button next to the subscribe button. It's like $4.99 a month. YouTube memberships is essentially like YouTube's version of Patreon, and I really do appreciate that support. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.